We are live. Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, it's just hello. That's all. No, just kidding.
Hello, everybody. It's for
Okay. All
whoever's
right.
out there.
Yeah.
Everybody, the whole human race. Hello, and
Okay.
including a few dogs that I like too.
All right. Well, we're going to be back after this and we're going to talk about God Only Knows. And we're going to decide to name and label our show after we're done. So let's
There
see
we
where
go.
we go with this. Here we go.
Grab your friends, find your enemies and make amends, and we'll meet in the middle. Take the pride and set it aside. My hands will build you a shield, and we'll solve the riddle. And we'll remember these times, we'll remember these times. Oh, 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 oh. And we'll remember these times, we'll remember these times.
We only have this long for us to enjoy this music. I hope you guys enjoy that intro because I certainly do. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Scott. It's
Hey,
the Lynn
Lynn.
Scott Show, and welcome back after traveling. So, you just
Oh, the traveling. Oh, the traveling.
oh well, you know what? You always think you have it hard, right? But
It was
it could
4 days in
only.
Chicago. 4 days in Chicago was enough for anybody.
Mm,
And if anybody out there is listening from Chicago, it's a nice place. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're in Chicago.
uh,
It was cold. It was windy. It was just, the trip was a success, but actually just being in Chicago was not fun. Not fun for me.
hi,
But
Darlene. But
hi, Darlene.
but you're talking about travel, and you're talking about no fun. Can you imagine if you had to revert to this? I mean, come on, you traveled a little bit better than this.
That's,
Just a quick way of how some people are deciding to be real crafty and creative on
hey,
how to
there you
travel with
go.
these gas prices. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. See, somebody's always got it worse. Can you imagine going from Florida to Chicago like that? Come on now.
All
Oh,
right.
friend Tina Marie or Tina Rose is here. It's so nice to see you.
Hi,
Oh,
Tina.
and then hi Marissa, you're gonna head to Chicago in May. It's always nice to
Uh,
visit. It's you just don't ever want to, live there. It's just like when we go to New York City, right?
Chicago in May is a whole different animal, and I'm sure it's really lovely. Because we found good restaurants, we found some good things, but our purpose for being there was different.
Yeah.
We weren't sightseeing, we weren't doing any of that. We were working with the Chicago firefighters peer support teams, training them about addiction and communication and NLP. So we were working with them, but great group of people too. Firefighters in Chicago, hats off to you guys. They were
That's
great
awesome.
human beings, wonderful people.
That's
But
awesome.
just the whole travel and then flying back, the weather screwed up all of our flights. So what should have been about maybe a 5 hour experience turned into about 14 hours of just mayhem, and ended up like we formed this like little homeless tent city in the terminal with all of us and the stranded passengers just sitting and complaining together. It was kind of
But
nice.
yeah, and I was gonna say, you know what? I lucked out one time I was traveling, and I was going from Syracuse over to Dulles, and then Dulles over here to Denver, and then over here. And in Dulles, they said, "Okay, vouchers for anybody that will stay here and not go to Denver and pick up their ticket or whatever." I'm like, "Oh no, I want to go home." Luckily, I went home because then the next day was the story of like the 4 or 5 days people were
Yeah,
stuck in Denver. And so, at least it wasn't 5 days and you're home
right.
and it's over. And I mean, and of course, on LP, so you're good. But
Yeah, yeah.
so,
Um, but they were offering vouchers for our flight too because they canceled so many flights. We were guaranteed our seats. So, but they were offering, they wanted 20 people to give up their seats on the plane,
it's called
and they were
over.
offering them 2,000 each to give
Wow.
up their seats, and they couldn't get people to do it. It was, I mean, they finally did, but because nobody wanted to stay. That was in Baltimore halfway through,
Yeah. Okay.
and everybody's like, "Well, what am I going to do in Baltimore overnight?" So
Yeah.
it was, hey, listen, I made it back. I'm blessed enough to be able to go and do these trips and have this kind of business where I can meet people and do things. So I guess I shouldn't complain too much, but I like doing it, so I will.
All I can say, it's a good thing NLP, because you can use, because that's a very good for self help.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I'm working with the master, so I get every day a daily dose. Darlene knows who I'm talking about. Good old the master, Rex Sykes himself. So, anyways, but yeah, it really is difficult times, and sometimes when you go to TikTok or you go to any of those platforms and you see people, being either lighter of the subject, or you see people that are in less situations than you are, less glorious than you are. It's amazing how you can find gratitude in that regardless.
Absolutely. But beyond that, I'm back in the swing of things. I'm still suffering a little bit of the travel lag, but the nice thing was it was 7 degrees when I left Chicago. And when we finally did land, even though it was 1:30 in the morning in Florida, it was 80 degrees. So it was a nice change. And I don't have winter coats anymore. I don't have any winter stuff. So I'm going up there and I got like one flannel shirt. That was my outerwear. And it was not. And people are like, "Oh, you should have winter stuff." Why?
Well,
I don't travel in the winter.
Well, you can't say that no more.
Yeah, well, yeah, if they ask for it. Luckily, our next trip is Orlando in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We're going to Orlando, so that's not bad. We can do
that's
that.
Good. So, and you're back to every other week with Gary.
Yeah, every other Monday. So our next show is on Monday the 28th. Okay. And we're having a great success with the show. We're having a lot of fun. It's Live Out Loud Podcast. Anybody want to check it out, please do. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. It's Live Out Loud Podcast with Scott and Gary. Florida here.
Yeah, she's
from
Florida, I guess. Are you in Florida, Darlene? So yeah, she hangs out with me in the clubhouse with Rex. So yeah,
one of the most common phrases for people who used to live in the North is, "Why did I wait so long to move to Florida?" Because it's just so much easier. She said yes. So what part of Florida, Darlene? Because I'm down in Fort Lauderdale. So I'm just curious.
Scott, you might have to do the messages after a little while, because for some reason.
Oh, is your thing screwing up again?
Yeah. Did it do that to you last night on your show?
No.
StreamYard?
No.
Yeah.
No. She said she's in Stark.
Tell me you don't know where that's at.
I don't think anybody knows where that's at. That's not something that comes up often on travel TV. Well, let's all go to Stark. I have no idea what the hell Stark is.
Oh, what's that close to? I guess that's what we need to know.
What's it close to?
Because there are a lot of little towns in Florida. I mean, people don't have any idea how many little towns there are.
Oh yeah, there's all these little lake this and lake that.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah. See, I
she
can't
says
see
it's between Jacksonville and Gainesville.
Oh, so she's up north. She's where it's cold. Florida. Where it still could be cold.
It can get cold, but not like cold.
Well,
it gets cold like this is uncomfortable, not like, oh my God, we're going to die.
No, but they get like a little snow there sometimes. They've had snow there. They could have snow there.
Not very often.
So one time is often enough for them. I'm sure they're like, shit, I moved down to Florida.
She said, yes, it's cold here. Now it's cold where you are, Lynn. I mean, you didn't trade up much from. You didn't trade up much from Syracuse,
dude. It's 62 degrees right now.
Really?
Yeah.
All the snow's melted.
Yeah. Yep. Snow's melted, and matter of fact, I should look at. I have like year weather, and because my dad. But let's see, Syracuse is 41 right now. So you see, I'm doing pretty good, and it's raining over there. Oh, my sister's trying to call me. She obviously is watching to see YouTube. Zephyr Hills is 71. Camillus is 39. Yeah, so Brunswick, Georgia is 62. So I'm like in Brunswick, Georgia right now because I got my sister that lives out there.
Hey, there you go.
So there you go. My weather is not bad right now. It's 62. And
nice. 62 is a good temperature. I like that. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So
What
not too
else is
bad.
going on, Lynn?
Let's see. My flowers are still doing good. Look at my flowers. See my flowers? It's still doing
Those are the
really
ones you got
good.
last week.
Yeah, yep. I still got doing really good. And this month I'll be going to 3 different heart testing or whatever to make sure that I'm good for whatever I got to do for treatments later. So it's been a busy month, and I'm adding another show and doing some other stuff and looking to do some TikTok and doing some stuff, just a lot of different stuff. But one thing I'm really into is just self-development. And I've kind of taken a little time of, there's so many different coaches out there and so many different people that have surfaced, especially you'll see them in Clubhouse and things like that. But lately I'm so sensitive as far as just like psychology and everything else. It's like, it's an eye opener that for some people coaching, it's like th- I have this thing about people that keep they can help people help themselves. And yet, it's like, oh, that's my bread and butter. I mean, like, I think people have, some businesses out there and what people do. Like, look at you. Your business, you help people be efficient, get certified efficient so that they can help other people. And then you can help new people.
Right.
You don't say, hey, next month I got to train you again.
No.
You know what I
Of
mean?
course not.
And so, but there's so many people out there. It's just like our appliances used to be Maytag. The commercial was like, the Maytag maintenance guy ain't got shit to do because we build stuff really good. And now these days it's like they build them so that you buy the next one, the next model in 2 years from now.
Yeah.
So, so I have issues with, and I have issues just with people, the way they're trying to coach or people marketing. I'm just very sensitive, and I teach branding and marketing and all this stuff, but I don't believe in half of the marketing out there that you're trying to sell something to, trying to sell food to the Ethiopians or something, water or something. It's not right,
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm just trying to find my what resonates to me to be, with integrity and vulnerability. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of just finding a repurpose because I don't like all the bullshit out there. There's so much bullshit out there. It's like poop bombs. And when you have dogs and they poop in your backyard and you're walking out there and you got to watch for all their little poop spots, because there's just too much poop out there that I just don't want to step in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there came a time when coaching actually had it was a legitimate term, but it's become illegitimate. It's become really bastardized by people who said, well, I think I'll just be a life coach. I think I'll just be this coach or that coach. And they're not qualified. They're not trained. And more importantly, they don't have, there's people that can teach and there's people that can't teach. I mean, that's just the way of the world. And there's people that just don't have it. I've sat through enough seminars and trainings and different things to see that, one guy is just, he's feeding himself is what he's doing. He's
right.
Or she it's just like, I want to coach. So I'm going to coach and I don't have any content. I don't have anything to share. Then there's other people that don't have a whole lot of training at all, but they have this natural ability to share their discoveries and to inspire people. So the problem is it's just such a wide open category that it's been bastardized by people who just want to go coach. And I tell you, I meet probably 5 life coaches a day in my business that say, well, I'm a life coach, or I'm a this coach, or I'm a that. And I'm like, okay, all right. Show me what you got. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. And the same thing with marketers. I'm running into marketers all the time. I can market your business. I can market your brand. I can do this. And I ask them to do the same. I ask them the same thing every time. And if they hang up when I ask them, or if they tell me no, then I'm done with them. And that's basically, all right, before I spend a dime with you, I want you to take something and show me what you can do with it.
Yeah.
Don't show me a picture of a website you built for somebody and tell me that they got 1 billion hits in the first day. Don't tell me that shit. What I want to do is I want to say, all right, here's the thing. I got one event. I want you to put the word out. And if you can get 100 new people to like it or to do this, then I'll talk to you about sharing money with you or doing something. And you know what? Nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it. I mean,
Sherry
I
and
could
I
even go to a restaurant and say, I'd like to taste something before, and they'll do something like that. But
right.
these guys, so anybody who just tells you, look into their background, look at who they are. Definitely everywhere Karen and I go when we do our work, people can see our bios, they can see our trainings, they can see our life's, our timeline of the things we've done in our life, and say, okay, if this doesn't appeal to you, then we probably won't.
Right.
But I mean, Lynn, you probably see it all the time because there's always everybody out there. I think I'm just going to be a life coach. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's one of those things where and the people that don't give you value and tell you things anyways to tell you, you know. So again, if they're not giving useful value
Yeah,
beforehand, to have that relationship, or when you meet people and the first thing they want to tell you is what they want to sell you.
yeah, yeah,
I want to sell you.
yeah,
Hi, I'm such and such, and this is what I help people like you, or this maybe you do. But I had a conversation with a couple of people in the last couple of days, and they're like, "Oh, you looking for a coach?" I'm like, I've got 3, 4 mentors, and I'm a coach too. And so, how many coaches do you have? Because if you're not
yeah,
keep learning, then what are you doing?
yeah, yeah. The other thing is like if somebody says I'm a life coach, I like to ask them, well, what do you specialize in? Well, anything. Well, no, that's not an answer. Anything. What if I'm the
Yeah,
first pregnant man on earth? You're not going to coach me through that because nobody knows shit about it. All right. You got to tell me what is your specialty.
yeah,
Don't just come up and say you're a life coach or that you're this or that. Tell me what makes you special and what you do really well. And that way I'll decide if it's something that I need in my life. I
yeah,
don't expect people to come to me to learn about physical fitness because that's not me.
yeah,
You want to learn about addiction, you want to learn about communication, you want to learn about those things. That's my area, but that's where my area ends and begins. It's all right there. uh,
yeah,
so I don't think people quite understand that, and I think
yeah,
that's why the term life coach became, it's almost like you can't use that now because everybody can say that.
yeah.
So
Well,
what is it that you're special at? What is it that you can lead them into? I know you'll tell them, you're transparent. You'll tell them what you do and what you can help them with. And if you can't help them, you'll tell them that too, right?
oh yeah. Matter of fact, because I've got several different things that I like to coach people on, but mostly it's them learning to, and what I'm into now is how I can teach that. It's like the thing goes, you're going to teach somebody how to fish for the day, or are you going to teach, feed them for a day and or teach them how to
Fish,
feed and
yeah.
fish for a lifetime. Same difference goes there. Is the I want to give them tools that they can help themselves change their attitude and be happy and that kind of stuff, or in relationships, those kinds of things. But again, or I can coach a little bit on business and branding and social media, but depending on, first I get to know them and I
Yeah.
get to see where, if I can help them. If not, I refer them to somebody else. But again, to say I'm an end all be all, no, 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 no. So I just think that everybody's so willing to pay, skilled people, and you know, you can clip this and take it the way you want. But the point is really, if they have a resume of changing people's lives, I recommend you go to them. You know,
Yeah.
or why they're passionate, or why was it that they got taught something and all of a sudden they feel compelled, they want to share it. Why? What was the epiphany you had, or the purpose that you want to do this, instead of I'm
Yeah.
so it just, but again, it's the reason behind it, or the experiences. It's just, you never know. I want to thank people that are watching, but I just stuck on there, ask any question or topic freestyle. We're just BSing tonight, slash, just talking in general. So if you guys want to pop in with a question or a comment, or how you feel about some of that stuff,
Apparently
go
part of
for it.
what we're doing is we're complaining about things that bother us a little bit, like travel and
Yeah.
and coaches that aren't really coaches. So maybe that's what we're doing today. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's up to you
Well,
guys if you got something you want to add. But yeah,
yeah.
or maybe
And
there's something out there that bothers you. Tell us about it so we can all
yeah.
bitch together.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not trying to bitch here, trying to say that when you have a problem, think of the solutions and think of the ones that have a good track record, that can really help you, that are very positive, not the ones that a coach 1 minute and then they're like, where's that dog? And let me go kick the dog, or, whatever. I mean, we're
Right.
talking somebody who's congruent and constant and really has,
That can
the
add
desire to
value. That
help
can
you.
add value
Yes.
to you. Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Not just the first one that comes along and say,
Yeah.
okay, okay, I'm done. Because it's just, I mean, like, it's just, is sad because so many people settle. Like even people that I talk to settling in relationships, and then when they have relationship problems, it's like you still have problems. Either you talk about it and change it, or do something when you can. Don't wait till it's so late that you can't do nothing about it. Because when somebody's done, they're done.
There's also something else too. There's you always want to work with people that enjoy what they do.
Yes.
I love what I do. I'm blessed that I get to do what I do. I know you love what you do.
Yeah.
It wasn't always the case. I've had bad jobs. I've had terrible. What is the worst job you ever had, Lynn? The absolute worst job you ever had?
Well, I don't know if they're the worst jobs, but I liked being a store detective, except when I had to like search somebody, and do paperwork. So I didn't really like the paperwork there. I liked helping people prevent them from getting their cars taken, because I worked in auto financing. So if you didn't pay your
Okay.
payments, I was supposed to search your car and get it repossessed. But I chose my records were, hey, pay something, promise to pay something, so we don't need to take your car. And I
Right.
did a lot of Spanish speaking accounts. So I didn't take too many cars, but sometimes I had to take a lottery winner's car once. And I had to
Well,
take a
apparently it's a
musician's
rule.
vehicle.
If you win the lottery, you become immediately stupid because
Yeah.
people. I won $1 million and I went out in the first year and spent
Yeah.
$5 million. What the hell's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Yeah. And so, but I worked at a fish fry. Was my first job at Bill's Inn down in the valley. I don't know if you remember that. I didn't like getting
Yes,
out of after work.
that's
That
a
was a
tough
stinky job.
job.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
was,
tough
because that
job.
was a tiny little place. And we'd have,
Yeah,
like, on Fridays, we'd have all these people behind the counter.
it's
Yeah.
bad enough you walk out of there smelling like a fish fry.
Yeah.
Then you get
Yeah.
the little splatter burns of the grease and the different things. And
Yep.
I think the
Yep.
worst job I ever had was I was cleaning hospitals, and I would specialize in cleaning the morgue after autopsies and stuff. And that was about the worst job I ever had, having to bring body parts into the fridge and stack them and do it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Did they
Yeah.
pay you good?
I was still trying to find my way. I was still mostly doing sales jobs, and I was trying to get out of it. I was in school to get my BSW, and I was doing what I had to do. And the hospital system was a big hospital system. I got paid pretty well, but one day I walked in there, and unfortunately there was a child in there, and I saw it, and I walked out. So I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So then I went from that into printing and publishing and different things, but yeah,
that would be difficult to do.
it was a bad one. Not to mention, it was just gross.
Yeah.
It was just gross.
We
got Mike Wolf. Was it Mike or Mikkel?
It's Michael.
Michael. Okay.
Fish and chips. Yeah.
Fish and chips.
They were really good, but
in Syracuse, New York, people, you don't understand. Fish and chips, fish especially, for Friday nights, fried fish at all the fish fries. There was like maybe 6 or 7 big ones in Syracuse that everybody went to. There was one over in Eastwood. There was one over, they were everywhere. But we had everything was fried haddock, and it was so good. And I can't get haddock here. Do you have haddock there?
Yeah, we get a friend of mine, little Crazy Mary's. She has good fish. Thank you, Michael, for showing up. I appreciate you being here. And what did Darlene say?
Darlene says, I tried to get a job working in a morgue, but I was told I was a girl and I couldn't do it. Now, first of all, was that the first time you were told you were a girl? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's like,
that's
shit,
a different
really?
show.
Oh my God.
That's a different show.
It's a different show. No, that's funny. That's funny because I guess I guess I was the only guy working in that
Oh,
section. So
so this
yeah.
guy, he's really cool, Michael. Except he likes Boston. He likes the Red Sox. Crazy Mary's is the best. Sorry, I was a little late. It's okay. No, Crazy Mary's is great. I missed her. I'm good friends with her, and I missed her when she closed up. But she has had it, and she's from Boston area. And she lives out here.
Oh, she lives out where you are now?
Yeah, but she's from Boston,
Oh, Crazy
Massachusetts.
Mary's wasn't in Syracuse. Okay.
No,
All
no,
right.
no,
Okay.
no.
I thought I missed one.
No,
No.
not Syracuse. So, and just so Michael understands, Scott and
Did
I
he
are
say
originally from
South
Syracuse.
Boston?
Yeah, South Boston, baby.
You're a Southie? All right. We keep clicking the same one.
Go for it.
You told me to click them.
I know. I apologize.
All right. So he's a Southie. All right.
Yeah,
So
well,
he probably used to hang out with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in the Southeast.
no, he lives in Montana, but he did live out there for 2 or 3 years. I forget exactly what he told me, but he lived out there. And first I said I was from Long Island. I think he thought I was from like Boston or something. I don't know, but yeah. So
everybody
anyways,
already knows I thought you were Italian all those years.
I know, right?
I mean, you're Puerto Rican. What the hell are you talking about? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. So he said he spent a few years there and he loved it.
Yeah.
Boston's a beautiful city. It really is. And I visited there many times. But being a New York person, the Boston and New York is like oil and water. We don't mix that much.
Yeah. Well, you can come out to New York with me or Boston.
You do not have a Boston accent, LOL.
No, I don't.
And then bada bing. No, bada bing that's Jersey, guys.
That's Jersey.
Just so you know, bada bing, that's Jersey. That's where I was.
Yeah.
Don't take the bada bing from me. We had the bada bing, Betty Boop. We had the whole thing. It was just something we did. Forget about it.
Scott worked in radio and TV out there, Michael. Michael's he's in filming and he's out on his own filming now. But he worked for some local stations and stuff here.
I worked TV and radio in Jersey and Philly for almost 20 years. And
yeah, he used to do things like this, Michael.
No.
Scott Jones here, and do you love a green lawn? Do you love a clean lawn, but you don't want to do the work to get there? Well, I'll tell you what, I've got something for you. Every time I go out and rake, I spend more time pulling leaves out of my rake than I do actually raking the lawn. And look what happened.
Oh my gosh, you're cracking up.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Thank you, Michael, for the compliment. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Yeah, that was the worst of what I did. Well, no, it wasn't the worst. I think the worst was when I dressed up as a cowboy and I was in the parking lot and I was the lone arranger. And good credit, bad credit, no credit, call the lone arranger. And all right. So, darling,
you know what?
I lost you guys.
Okay. I just may have to go ahead and do a little internet search for some kind of something on you to watch but yeah, back in the day, he had dark hair and stuff, and you could see that from there.
Yeah. Now we got all the gray coming in over here.
Shoot,
I gotta do the man coloring in my beard. Because if I don't, I get a gray streak right here, and it looks like I got a booger hanging out of my nose. So I got to color that.
We're gonna be the next Dick Clark, and who can I? You're Dick Clark, and I'd be who that has enough stuff to look young.
We'll be like used to do the morning show. Regis and Kathy Lee. We are Regis and Kathy Lee.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they don't want to never age. Hi, Teodora. I quickly walked in late. It's so good to see you. Look, my flowers are still beautiful. My green screen has can see right through me? No, you can't. Oh my gosh, I'm cracking up over here.
Yeah, those are the special Harry Potter edition flowers there, with some of them invisible.
Yeah, and I think it was funny because it was right on the show when I figured out how a guy did a trick. I was like, that's how he did it. I thought it was really cool. And then I was answering my own question. He acted like he was laying in bed and he took a thing and he was becoming invisible. I'm like, green screen. I
remember when green screen was like the thing, and it was back God, it goes back 30 years ago when I was working at the TV station and we were doing stuff. And the Boy Scouts would come in for a tour of the station, and we'd always set them up in our newsroom, and we'd give them a green blanket, and they'd see themselves disappear, lifting it and lowering. And that was all you had to do to entertain those little rat bastards, was just give them something to play with, and they'd just do it and stuff and get them out of our hair for a little while.
Oh my goodness. So, but phone be back. No problem. Darlene, yeah, my thing isn't showing up. My thing over here. Listen to me. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about my.
Theodora's mentioning that the flowers are lasting a long time. It's the love that you give them, apparently.
That's right, and I love them, and I appreciate them, and I love flowers, and I was happy it had some roses there because I love roses. So it's gorgeous, perfect colors and stuff. Yeah. So we were talking. So Michael and Theodora, what are the worst jobs you guys have had?
Yeah, that's a good idea. What are the worst jobs?
Yeah, what are the worst jobs you guys have had that, well, I don't think it was a bad job, Theodora, but you were a florist at a grocery store, and I think that was pretty cool. Except
No,
probably,
that's cool.
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's
So that wasn't a
you
bad
get
job.
to be creative. It's not the best
Mhm.
environment in a grocery store, but you still get to be creative and do things. So
Yeah.
I don't think that would be awful.
No. But, so yeah. What did Michael say?
Worst job ever, Michael said, ex-husband.
And I was
that's
mad
funny.
at an ex-wife. There you go.
That is funny.
Oh my gosh.
That is funny.
Oh, it's so funny. He is a funny guy. I hope to get to meet him here soon in person, but we video chat, and he's just hilarious. He's funny.
Okay, Theodora says, worst job. I worked as a mechanic while I was in college. Get out. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I know the worst job is having to hear all the guys talk about girls, probably, or talk about, I don't know, guy things or something. But all my guy friends are like that. So
Michael said, seriously, I worked at Toys R Us for one day.
Did you get caught? Oh, he loves teddy bears. So I bet you he probably tried to hug all the teddy bears in there and got kicked out or something. I don't know.
Probably taking a nap in a big pile of teddy bears in the middle of the Yes, mommy, this bear is snoring.
Either that, or it's because he had to hear all the kids going, where's this? Where's that?
Any job that puts you around. Listen, I give teachers all the credit in the world, because any job that puts you around children all day, I think that would be the worst job for me. It would be a bad fit for me.
Well, and there's some people that can't have kids that love children. I mean, there's, like I said, there's something for everyone depending on what, I transformed a passion I have for flowers from a job into a business. That's
good
awesome.
For you.
That's awesome. And so, yeah, I used to be in the AV department in high school and stuff. And here I am later. I'm just still an AV girl.
Well, at least I'm not holding a rake. That's all I can say.
Well, yeah, that's still funny.
Well, not just hug the teddy bear, but that's another story. What did you do to those teddy bears, Michael?
It was a bad place.
Joking. It was a bad place. I walked out at lunch. You didn't even make it. You said you worked there one day. You didn't even make it a full day.
He waited till lunchtime.
You made it 4 hours. You made it to lunch.
I'm about to get that story out of him.
I think the only job I would want in a place like that is to be in the back building bicycles, because because at least you're doing something mechanical and something that you're building something.
Yeah.
But to be out on the floor and dealing with parents and children and all that crap, and the toys now are just ugh.
Well, now that place is a fitness place. So, here we go. What did you?
All right, this is long. It says, I am an engineer. I graduated from Technical University with a degree in economics in car industry. Now I have a business in finance, a notary business, and a special events flower arrangements. Blows my mind how life goes. You're like the Renaissance woman.
No, she's
all
awesome.
of that stuff. I think that's fantastic.
And hey, she's not originally from here, and she learned English.
Well,
Tell them where you're from.
Where are you originally from, Theodora?
Yeah,
by the way, I love your name. I love your name.
Yes, and she's been here for 20 years. How long have you been in the States now? So yeah, you wait till you hear.
She's here long enough to be an engineer, and
she's amazing. She's amazing.
degree in
So
economics and car industry. Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
that
Michael
sounds
did admit, yeah, it was only 4 hours. He made it. 4 hours. That's got to be a record. I don't think I've ever worked a job and walked off after
but
4 hours.
well, at least he can say he worked at Toys R Us for one day, okay? So but that's the worst job then that what you didn't really work. I mean, have you ever done paper routes?
you barely even had a job. What are you
know
talking
what?
about?
He
Worst.
probably spent half the time watching video training, and the video training probably got him so bored that he had to leave. So yeah, she was born in Romania.
And in the States for 16 years.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Thank God you're here because you
Yes.
obviously bring some spice and some color to our country, which is now your country as well.
Yep.
No, all school was done in Romania. Excellent. Okay.
Yep. And she learned her English here. So
Michael's ouch, but very true. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to qualify. Any job you've held for more than, let's say, 5 hours.
after training, because
Yes.
he didn't make it through training. He's like, shit, I got to fill out a social security form and I got to do this and I got to do this. This is a lot of work.
He didn't get to the bottom of his application and he quit.
Michael,
Oh
I'm so sorry. I'm picking on you. Thank you so much.
Hey, he put it out there. It is fair game, you know. Love you, brother, but come on, dude.
Oh my gosh.
4 hours. I mean, I've had jobs where I've been there for like 2 or 3 weeks and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I was a mason tender. I was working with block and mason and everything else. But the problem was the guys that were new, they would always put them high on the scaffolding and stuff. And I wasn't a fan of heights. I like mountain climbing, but I don't like heights on ladders and scaffoldings. So I couldn't do the job, but I made it longer than you did. So, all right. So what do you two think is the tools people need to acquire before coaching?
Oh, that's
Great question, Lynn.
I love that. You want to keep that up there for anybody?
Yeah, let me leave it up there so people know what we're talking about. So the tools that people need to acquire before they can call themselves coaching or before they should coach.
Well, I'll give a quick example. Like, I really think a great doctor or a great nurse that's going to be like, let's say a nurse that's going to be in the maternity ward. The great nurses there would be, oh, I lost him. He'll be back. The great nurse there would be somebody that maybe has had children. Because when they're telling somebody to push and they haven't pushed, there's Scott. I'm just talking about a maternity nurse. You
My
know,
apologies. My apologies.
It's okay. It's okay. It's like if a maternity nurse, like if she's had kids, that validates her to be more empathetic to somebody, or a doctor, a children's doctor who has a child that can actually empathize or understand what it is to have a kid and go through something. If your background and your story comes to be that you got into a field of coaching because you personally have transformed from it, or it's made a difference in your life, or you have some reason instead of I picked this job because I can make $250,000 a year. You see, there's a problem there. It's a disconnect. And that's what happens with some kids that go right out of high school into college. When you don't have a reason or a basis for a coach, that you've never been divorced, and here you are trying to help, being divorced and trying to keep a marriage counselor. I don't know about that. But then again, you could be on both sides on that. But the point is some experience and knowing that you should look for, your mentors to be somebody that has a track record of teaching other people and people being successful, and having the right, like my daughter, there was 2 different beauty schools here in town. And, one could be the price over the other, but you want to get your education or knowledge where there's been more successful people, and because that resume with somebody else will be, or even the word of mouth becomes your resume because you've been doing it for a while. So whether it be coaching or any skills that you developed, you don't need the schooling or whatever. But if you have that background, look at the people that are hospice nurses. Some of them have lost so many people. And when it touches you, you do your job better. So a coach that can empathize with what you're going through, and mind you, every experience, you really can't empathize with anybody because everybody's experience is individually. However, trying to have some kind of understanding and caring to coach somebody is important, and not to screw them over like, oh, it's going to take, all these different sessions to help you. I want to be able to help people right away and not, any.
Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly right. And that's what pisses me off, Michael, is coaches that can damage people, and it's all a mighty dollar in their pocket. Even the psychiatrists that, they're sitting there, they know it's a paycheck. Oh, I can't help this person, but they can, I can listen to them. I give it so much coaching and free advice, and I do that a lot, and I don't have a problem. But when I see these people that are trying to really, really, so without the tools, I mean, so what do you mean without the tools?
No, he's saying that they could damage people
right.
without the tools if you don't have the proper tools.
Right. And that's the problem. Now, like Scott said, if a coach has a specific niche, like if I'm about helping a couple, but they're looking for, help with a child, and that's not my niche, I'd have to go find them somebody specifically with a child. There's a lot of different meats and potatoes of getting the right one, not just an umbrella of, well, you're a coach, figure something out, because something out doesn't always work with everybody.
I think there's a combination of training and experiential evidence that people have to have with them. I work in an industry working with mental health and addiction, where there's a lot of people out there trying to help people, but they're limited to book knowledge. And there's, while I agree education is very, very important, without the experience behind it or without some sort of frame of reference, the effectiveness can only go so far. So if you're looking for a coach, and if you want to be a truly effective coach, you've got to have not only the educational piece, but you've got to have some experience that you can relate or that you can share, that gives weight and value to what you're sharing with people. For me to coach somebody, I'll go back to my other example. For me to coach a woman on how to be pregnant, I could tell her everything I learned in books, but I can't share the real gut stuff.
No.
But on the other hand, I could also damage people because, well, I went through it, so I should be able to help other people. No, you also need some background education as well. So it's a really good balance. If you've got a coach who has not been educated in things like communication and psychology and things like that, if you're working with somebody who's going to be a physical coach or a body coach, you want somebody who's got some basic anatomy education plus some experience. Just because they went to every school and they know everything about anatomy and working out, if they're standing there and they're 300 pounds and got a pastrami sandwich hanging out of their mouth, you're not going to want to listen to them.
No.
But at the same time, you're not going to listen to a musclehead who spends 6 hours a day in the gym, but has no education behind it. So it's a balance. And I think that's what's being lost with the coaching and all of these things, is we're not finding that balance of education and experience.
Yeah. Amen, Scott. And I couldn't agree more. And like I said, I just get really heightened sensitive to, like, and good example. I mean, I've got to take your course here, your accredited course for intervention. I mean, there's some people I'm going to interview and coach this week and whatnot. And most of the time I hear for free, I help what I can. And I'm like, but when I know they're going to go to somebody or something, I'm like, dude, no, you can't do that. This is the problem. I keep thinking I might have to do some children's books, and I'm sure there's some out there, but I didn't see many on Amazon, that, we need to teach our kids how to use the tools they were born with, their natural ability to just be able to be themselves. You want to read that then?
This is a great statement. This actually sums everything up that we're talking about. I'm currently interviewing people to be my life coach. Many are great salespeople, but not good coaches. Exactly. People assume that because somebody sells or because they sell you on an idea, they are great salespeople. No. But you know what? So are con men. So are thieves. So are cheaters. And so are, everybody is selling something all the time. So yes, I agree. My question is, when I'm looking at Theodora's accomplishments in her life, my suggestion is, you've got the skills. You need to be your own coach, because look what you've achieved. Look what you've done. I think we've kind of fallen into, I think everybody does need coaching in certain areas. I think they actually do. But I think sometimes we forget to rely on ourselves and look at our own accomplishments and use those to motivate us.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's the coach I'm going to be, is telling people, look, let's look at your past. Let's see what your history is. And then bring those up to say, look, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? Those are the mindsets you need to use because you already have that mindset. We need to just bring that up again. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's why I love the NLP that I'm learning, because I'm learning tools, even though I had business mass, or I have a business management, I went to school, Psych 101 and 2 and 3 and blah, 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 and this and that. But the bottom line is, you know, and then I've talked to therapists when I was in a terrible marriage and stuff. They didn't help me. Mental
Right.
health center here didn't help me and whatnot. But you have to be your own advocate, and I'm supposed to be clinically depressed, and you won't see me depressed. I'm like, oh, hell no. But again, you got to help yourself. And somebody
Now,
is like Teodora, I'll talk to you, because what I will do is I won't convince you to be my coach, but I'll make sure that the things you ask and the things you should look at, and you should look into yourself first. Now, yeah, you can have an accountable coach, somebody accountable that's in the field of mindset or whatever. I think those are important too, but don't go somebody to go F your head up when you already got the knowledge to help yourself, because that's what you don't need, is another opinion of someone else's.
all right, Teodora, I'm going to read this. Thank you for being so open with us. We really appreciate this. My personal life is a mess, Scott. I'm a good businesswoman, but after a disaster divorce, I was not able to bounce back. I do understand, because I come from where I've had to put my life back together because of my addiction and alcoholism and a lot of other things that went on. So I understand how life can be a mess. And then I went through a divorce and then another marriage where my wife passed away. And so I know how that could be. But one of the things that I found out was that all of these things were part of my story to build who I am today. And that I had to stop looking at them in a way that was like, that was a failure, and start looking at it more like, what can I learn from that? What am I taking away from that? I can carry all the luggage of the pain and the sorrow and the loneliness, or I could pick up the mantle of, you know what? Scott gets to reinvent himself again. Scott gets to do something different. All I'm saying is, if you want to talk to somebody and you want to get some coaching and you want to get some help with that kind of personal situation, I totally understand. But and by the way, let me draw a really fat line here. If you have a mental health disorder, you should not be looking for a coach. You should be looking for a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm just telling everybody that right now. A coach is not going to help you with a diagnosed mental health disorder. This is a serious, serious thing.
Yes.
But if it is about your personal life and the things that are going on and you're not feeling good about yourself, before you start shopping around for coaches, why don't you shop around for positive people to put in your life?
Yep.
For friends. And that can make a big difference right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's one of my dear friends, and now I know
she's one of my friends now.
Yep,
Teodora,
absolutely.
I would love to be your friend.
Yep,
I would love to be your friend. So
absolutely. So no, I'm glad we brought this up, because like I said, I don't like seeing people with the mighty dollar. I mean, shoot, like right now, I'm just getting as much knowledge as I can. And, I wrote part of my life craziness story and stuff. And sometimes your life, we all learn lessons, and you got to realize that life happens not to you, but for you. Things happen so you learn the lessons you need, so that when you go on, those lessons are in there. And it's just, I just, and yeah, Michael, you're right. I love everyone's vulnerability, and that's the core of the mindset and people I hang around with, and I just love it. What are you laughing at?
Michael's just happy that his 4-hour job is not the worst thing we've heard today. He's just happy about that.
And Nicole,
is saying that adversity prepares us for the next adversity.
Absolutely. I always say,
you know what? What if we switch that, Nicole, and we say this adversity prepares us so that we don't have to have adversity. That not everything is adversity. We look at things from a negative point of view all the time. When something happens, the first thing we do is we assign a negative connotation instead of saying, okay, this isn't adversity. This is a new learning opportunity. This is something new for me to try. This is something different. That's why I take up things like painting, because, I needed something to fulfill something within me, and I found something. Boy, we got all these comments coming in fast. Let's get to them.
And I love it. But before you go on to there, just remember this. The craziness thing is everybody keeps doing the same thing, expecting a
Yeah.
different outcome. So next time you get to say, oh, this shit's happening again, and I know how it's going to end. First of all, you're right, because you're always going to know how it ends if you have that kind of attitude, good or bad, for one. For two, if it's happening again, maybe you didn't learn the lesson, and maybe you need to tweak something so that shit doesn't happen again.
Right.
So go ahead.
So Nicole's saying, give your grace during the healing journey.
Absolutely.
I like that. Theodora, thank you for your words. You guys are awesome. No, you're awesome.
Love you. Thank
she
you.
says we are
Absolutely.
family. The human race is a family. We're all an extended family in somewhere, one way or another. And the neighbor down the road that pisses you off is somehow related to you as a distant cousin. So start thinking
if you see
about
him as
that.
an asshole, I hate to tell you, there's something asshole about you that resonates with them that you need to look inside to realize I don't want to act like that asshole. So just putting out
Nicole says life is one big science experiment. Now that I like, because it is an experiment. Every time you do something new, it's an experiment. You might not like it. You might like it. It might be something that changes your life. It may be something that you walk away from and saying, won't do that again.
Been there, done that.
You could do anything you want over and over again, and you could do it badly, except for skydiving. You only get one shot at doing that badly. All right. All right. Amen. Love your show. You both as individuals, your knowledge and advice are always on point. Well, thank you. And Nicole saying, I see positive, not negative. Yes. And I wasn't saying that you were saying it negative, but even the words we use, part of the neuro-linguistic programming that I know is the words that we use. We say words like adversity or problems or trouble as opposed to opportunity and things like that. And sometimes just changing our verbiage can change our mindset. So, that's what I was pointing out. It certainly wasn't. I was not calling you a negative person at all, Nicole. Not at all.
Let's speak about our verbiage and remind everybody that we got to be careful how we say when we want things. That means you don't have it, and the same thing, wishing means you don't have it, wishing I had a wish sandwich, but wishing I had some meat in that sandwich.
The funny thing is that it's one of the things I teach is it stop wanting and wishing, and start to be willing to get what you want.
Right.
So instead of saying I wish I had that, say I am willing to go get it.
Yeah, and
that's a whole different, because everybody wants. For years, I used to sit in a bar drinking my life away, wanting a better life, but I wasn't willing to get off my ass, put the drink down, and go get it. And so it was different,
Well, one thing with the wanting and having, I'm going to tell a little Glenn Morshower. He's an actor. He's been around years. I get to spend time with him, and he's a good friend of mine. But one thing he says that's worth repeating here, and you should look him up on YouTube, Glenn Morshower. But one thing he says is that when he went at 18 years old to go be an actor in California, he didn't go pursue. He went to go have. He goes, we don't go and pursue our dinner, do you? You go and have dinner. So don't pursue a career, have a career. And that gives you the haveability of that alone, owning it. How many times have you in your past said, oh, I want that, I'm having it? It's done. Once you know you have it.
Did you just say haveability?
Haveability, yeah.
Is that a word? If not, it's a new word, and I love it.
Yeah, haveability.
All one
Go
word.
Look it up or whatever. Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, between my Spanish speaking first, my English, my Long Island, and then Montana, and then Lynnism. Brian calls things Lynnism, so who knows? But
I love it.
Let's just have it.
I love it. Nicole says 24 years recovery prepared me to be able to raise the children by myself. And then my traumatic brain injury. That's why I say to myself that adversity prepares me for my next. Yes, absolutely. Yep. I do understand your point. Absolutely. And congratulations, 24 years in recovery. You're right in my area now. I work with people, getting them into recovery. I'm in recovery myself for quite a few years. So congratulations to that. Michael says, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, energy, everything gets transformed to something one way or another.
Nicole says, I didn't take it that way. Sometimes we have to come up with things to move us forward. You will like this turn mess into messages, test into testimony, victim or victorious. I like that. I like that. Turn your mess into the message, which is one of the things that we certainly talk about. But the message, as long as we know that message that we're getting is for us,
Yeah.
my mess becomes a message for me to change things. A lot of people try to put their message out to other people, but they're not applying it to themselves, and that way it ends up being kind of hollow, doesn't it?
And not only that, and we got to leave here soon because it's been an hour just about. That's the
Wow.
producer and me saying we're going to
Wow.
finish here soon. But I want to say that you got to remember the problem with some people telling their story all the time. And that's why I decided to make a quick ass book and put some of my story in there, is that anything your subconscious and your conscious mind hears, if you keep repeating those things, it doesn't know it was in your past, or it's going to bring it up in your forward. And that's one of the detrimental things people do, is when they tell their story and continue, their life's not going to change when that's the story they keep saying. So there's a topic that maybe we can talk about sometime,
Oh,
Scott.
absolutely. Glenn is awesome. Learned so much from him.
Yep, Glenn Morshower.
Nicole
So
says, hope and faith are my besties. Now,
I
there you
love it.
go.
I love it. I
Now,
love it.
wait a minute. Hope and faith are common girl names, too. Are they just a couple of your girlfriends that you know you hang out with? I got to ask. Congratulations on your recovery. Thanks, Nicole. I am very, very proud to be a recovering person. And I was never ashamed of throwing up in the street. Why would I be ashamed of not doing that? So,
or telling your story and helping, and
I'm
having the
always out
desire
there
to
to
help
tell
everybody.
yeah. That's true. It's easier to focus on others than ourselves. Yeah, there's actually a saying, and which is one of my favorite sayings, which is, we teach best what we most need to learn. We're always trying to teach people things that we need to learn ourselves. And until you learn it yourselves, then your teaching is hollow. You become one of those life coaches that are not qualified, because you just want to tell people what to do, but you don't do it yourself.
And then you get smart and you do what Lynn does. Write a quick ass book about your life, leave it there, and let somebody else read it if they want to go back. You don't have to.
Cool show, folks. Thanks again for all the open dialogue. Michael, just so you know, this show is as we see it. You're part of the we. We want to know how you see it too. So without your dialogue, Lynn and I would just be two people talking.
Yeah, and that was no fun, because we can do that anytime we want, but we want to bring value and life and experiences and help other people. So I really appreciate. I'm honored that you're here and you took time out. He's such a busy film guy himself and stuff. So it's a real honor that you stayed the whole hour with us. So
all of you guys,
yes,
even Darlene came back. She goes, wow, you all still on?
Yeah, we are. And it's a time to say goodbye, because we don't want to have this any longer than already. You want to show the last couple messages, and I actually did a quick little outro. Didn't professionalize it yet.
We have to get to the end, because our show's already longer than Michael's job at Toys R Us. So
that's right.
We gotta...
Hey, and you know what? We're starting a new thing. We're not going to have our topic name. We're going to figure out what this is and then rebrand the name on it. So this show was about what? Coaching? What I don't know.
I'm not sure what the show was about, but coaching and coaching yourself, I guess, was
be your best coach.
Be your own coach.
Be your own coach first.
But don't buy all the hype.
Yeah.
Michael says, now I don't feel like Toys R Us was a failure. Well, I'm glad we can help you through that traumatic part of your life, for that 4 hours of dealing with kids with snot and toys and everything else.
Can we get a testimony sometime?
They changed my life. My life was in the toilet after Toys R Us, and now I'm free. Thank you, Lynn and Scott. Thank you.
Yay, praise God. No, hey, you guys, we got to get out of here. I love you, Scott.
Just a final thought for everybody out there. This all lessons that we have, when we're going through them, feel like they're hard-learned lessons. But when you get out on the other side, and you can take a look back and take a look forward. and say this was just one step in my journey, and it's really not that bad. I'm living alone for the first time in my life. In 38 years of having wife and kids and all these, and being by myself. And I thought it was going to be a disaster, and it turns out to be the one of the greatest things I could experience is to learn about myself and do all that. There's always a bright side, people. There's always something good. Look for it. Lynn?
I couldn't agree more. Let alone, remember, you have every minute to change your mind. And if you don't like what you're playing in your mind, change it to a different channel and find the channel that makes it pleasing and happy. Laugh, go dance, go do something to get yourself out of the funk, and change and distract yourself till you're in a better mindset, because it's like the weather here, especially here in Montana. We always say, wait 15 minutes, the weather will change. The same thing in your life. You don't have to wait 15 minutes, thank heavens. You can just wait seconds and just stop where you're at. One thing I'm going to recommend is go watch Bob Newhart. Stop it. The little clip on YouTube that's and that'll help you guys all. So we got to leave. It's an hour. I don't like this. Love you guys.
Remember, drugs bad, coffee good. You guys take care.
Hey, you sure that's what's in there?
That's what's in there.
Okay,
Coffee.
I want to see you walk a straight line. No, just kidding. All right, you guys, wait. We didn't end the show yet, but we got to end it. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.